folks, Jane Reaction here, and this Monday I'm going to talk about bands, part 3. How can there be so many different kinds of bands? Well, I'm showing you right here. So what I have today are long bands. Sometimes I see them referred to as large loop bands. So they're lightweight bands, but longer, as you can see. They come in different strengths. I have 2 here, and I have a couple other mounted in various places, as you'll see. And I sort of think of them as a little bit of the best of both worlds. So they're looped like a mini band, so you can wrap them around and do like abduction type stuff. But then they're long, so you can mount them in many different ways, and you can use them sort of like you would for handle bands. So today I'm going to show you 10 different exercises. But before we do that, just a few things about these bands, not mini bands. Lightweight and portable. Throw them in a suitcase for when we ever get to travel again. You can take them wherever. The way you mount these is a little different than a handle band. So since a handle band has 2 ends, you can basically just thread it through something and then just pull on both ends, or you can thread it through, say, one of those little loops that goes in the door. You can do that with these too, but there's a much simpler way to mount it. If you have any sort of vertical or horizontal rod, all that you have to do is put it around the rod. So let's say my bar is here, and basically just put it halfway through. Then you're going to take one end, you're going to loop it through the other, and then you just pull on it, and that's it. You can mount it to anything. So I'm going to do that in the middle of one of these exercises. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a bunch of banded exercises that don't require mounting to anything. And then I'll go to a low mount, I'll do one exercise on a mid mount, and then I'll show you a couple of exercises on a high mount. We'll be going outside for that, so not going to be exactly a minute an exercise, but just bear with me, okay? All right, so I'm going to start with my slightly heavier band. And we're going to get this party started with some banded good mornings. All right, so to do a banded good morning, you're going to step your feet on the band. You're going to bend down. You're going to put this around your neck. And then you're going to just come up. So notice at the bottom of the movement, my torso is parallel to the ground, my butt's going back. This is very similar to a deadlift movement. Now, obviously, if the band is not feeling comfortable around your neck, you probably don't want to do this. You could just go and do a deadlift motion instead. You can also use this with a lighter band. You can use this as sort of a warm-up if you're going to be doing a leg day and you want to do that kind of move. All right, next move, I'm going to get my lighter band. We're going to step on the band again. I'm going to hold it up at my chest, and we're just going to do squat to overhead press. Now because you're extending the band very far, you'll probably want a lighter weight or a lighter resistance band, just because the squat part of the movement isn't too bad. But then when you go to raise overhead, if you're using a heavier band, whoa, Nelly. We're going to do 15 more seconds. All of the regular cues for squat to overhead press apply, keeping your shoulders down and back even at the top of the movement. All right, now we're going to take our band, just hold it in front and pull it apart. Keeping our shoulders down and back. See, it looks like this. You could pull apart at an angle. You could pull up and down. Remember to check in with your posture as you're doing this. Working those shoulders in all different directions. Shake it up. Got a few more seconds. 2, 1. Now what you can do, you can just put it behind your back. And I'm going to go down on the floor. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do push-ups. But when I'm in my plank position, I've got that resistance. So it's a nice way to add resistance to a push-up move. If you're on your knees, this is a nice way to build up by adding more resistance in this position. Got 10 more seconds. I'm going to try to do a few on my feet. All right, so now what you can do is you can loop this around one foot, okay? So it's on the bottom of my foot, if I can get there. And then I have it around both hands. So getting into a plank position, you can just do leg lifts in plank. Working that glute. Switch sides. A few more seconds. All right. So now what I want to show you is I have this band looped around the lower part of my weight rack. And once you do that, you can step one foot in and just do adduction. So adduction, moving your foot with resistance toward the midline of your body. Switch sides. Making sure I have enough space for myself to get in and out. Now whenever you have it mounted, if you need more resistance, just move out more. Remember, these operate sort of by Hooke's law, so the more you stretch them, the greater the resistance. I'm going to step out, and now we can go to a seated row. So just sitting back and pulling here. Now, if you pull on the sides, one of the benefits, as opposed to using handle bands, is that it forces you to grip to get that band pulled back. So when you have handle bands, the shape of the handle sort of helps you out. Whereas here, my thumbs are facing away from me, so I'm relying on my grip partly to help pull this. So using these bands as opposed to using handle bands is a great way to add, to build grip strength. A few more seconds. All right, so this next one I'm going to wrap my band around the top here. So again, thread it in half, then one end through the other, and pull. And now just by standing here with this medium height loop, I can do straight arm twists, keeping my arms straight, using my torso to initiate the movement, not my arms. arms are just sort of along for the ride. I'll go the other way. I'm going to take this off real quick, and now we're going to go outside. And I'm going to show you a couple more things that you can do. If I can get out. There we go. So as you can see, I've got my pull-up bar, and now I have a mount overhead. I'm going to loop this one through. And now what I can do is I can do lat pull downs. So basically I'm just bending over and then just pulling down with bent knees, straight back. One of the keys to remember is that as you come down in the movement, the tendency is for the wrists, see how the wrists sort of bend? You want to try to keep them straight throughout the movement. So holding at the bottom, really feeling those lats engage. Coming up slow and controlled. All right, so now I will show you the last thing you can do with the band, and that's to use it as an assist for doing pull-ups. Okay, so some people, if you're building up to a pull-up, you might not be there all the way yet. So this will allow you to take some of the weight off so that you can practice the full pull-up motion, getting a little bit of help, okay? So I'm going to start with my arms out. Now, as you get better at assisted pull-ups, you can use smaller tension pull-ups, or you can use lighter resistance bands to take less of the weight off and make them more challenging until eventually you get to unassisted pull-ups. Do one more. And there you have it. 10 different things you can do with exercise bands. I hope you put some of these to good use, and I will see you next week with another Modality Monday. Thanks.